Gentlemen, let's talk about communication skills. Listen, it doesn't matter if you have money, body, height. If you can't talk to a woman, you still don't have enough. So I want you guys to listen to this woman so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. It's vital. Coming up in my day, I didn't have money. I still got women. Yeah, I had the height, not that bad looking, but man, I had this. In the Caribbean, this is what we're famous for. If you never had lyrics, you had nothing. Okay? So guys, understand I know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's listen to this woman. She will give you a good breakdown of what happened on one of her dates. And stay to the end because I have an amazing offer. I have now launched askanolderman.com, and part of that process is exactly what we're talking about in this video. Stay to the end and you'll see this amazing freaking offer for you guys. Okay? So let's get into the video. And another thing, ladies, if you're watching this, pass this video on to other men who seem to be struggling with this problem. Please. The idea is to bring us together as a unit so that we can all strive and lift each other up. So let's get into the video.
My car. I showed up a little late. He was understanding of that. We got to the place. It was extremely crowded. The wait was too long. He immediately found another place, held the door open for me, pulled out my chair. Extremely accommodating, extremely sweet, extremely polite. Great, right? Mm-hmm. But then we sit down and there's no conversation. Like, there's no conversation. And the reason why this upset me is because I would have understood if beforehand we were chatting it up through text message and we left very little for the date. But when I tell you he started off strong with the text messages of asking me questions about myself, and then it trailed off over the course of like a week and a half, I'm thinking like, all right, let's leave some of the suspense for the date, right? And he was busy with work and I was busy with work. We both had a lot going on. So it was understandable that we didn't talk frequently throughout the week. But then we get to the date and it's just like, so now I'm pulling out my conversation starters. Like, oh, so like, do you like your job? How long have you been there? Like, if you could choose any other occupation right now that you didn't have to apply for, you could just start tomorrow, what would it be? Like, I'm pulling out the topics, sis. Like, I'm on it. And then I'm getting answers to my questions, and he's like, no trips. Oh, no, yeah.
You got to reciprocate. You got to be able to give us. If a woman asks a question, you answer it. Don't give her too much. Don't ramble on. Don't give her too much. But then ask her, so what about you? It's always your best response. What about you? What do you think? Women love to talk about themselves, guys. Let's go on.
I don't really have New Year's resolutions. I'm just going to see what happens. What about me? Did it ever occur to you to be like, I like my job. Do you like yours?
And pause this. Exactly. What about me? It's always about them. Don't ever think it's about you. Don't ever forget that.
How about you, Imani? Do you have any trips you would like to go? It's like, I get the boys that don't have a care in the world about my feelings, but the conversation be flowing. Granted, it be flowing full of lies.
There we go. So another thing I talk about. Women don't really give a shit about the truth. Even though they know that these, as they put it, these boys that she's talking about, the F boys, they're going to get it. But the reason they're going to get it, because they're turning her on with this. This. It's not this. Because she wouldn't call them. She would call them eligible men. It's not this that have. Those bad boys, it isn't about the money. It's about this. I know. I was one of those guys that before I came into the money, I was still getting a hell of a lot of women. But because I knew how to use this. That's the difference. So if you guys don't know how to use this, you're lost, man. Even if you have money. This is what gets women wet. Let's continue.
Granted, it be flowing full of lies, like a lie river, but they be flowing. And then I get a nice guy, good-looking guy, polite, sweet, took initiative to plan the date, and you won't talk to me. Like, what? So now I feel guilty, and I'm like, okay, I guess we could go out on a second date. But now I'm like, is that worse? Is it worse? Because, they say nice guys finish last, and I'm not trying to take a nice guy and make him feel like, oh, well, I can't He didn't even try to make a move. Like, he was 100% respectable, but it's like, bro.
Listen, guys, you have to not only use this, you got to at least break the touch barrier as well. I'm not saying grope or grab her tits, nothing. Just at least touch her hand. Make sure that you connect physically as well. This is another little tip. Even if it's the back of your hand on her hand as you're sitting at the table, right? She grabs a coffee. You grab her coffee as well and think, oh, I thought that was mine. While you're sort of holding her hand. She knows that you're playing, but she loves it. But you have just broken the touch barrier. Okay? These are all little techniques you guys got to learn, man. I'm telling you this because I want you guys to have great results in your dating game. And it's not to pick up women. I'm not that guy. I'm not trying to teach you my pickup artist techniques. I'm trying to get you from date 1 to date 2. Because if you can't freaking close date 1, there is not going to be any date 2. That's why I started the Male Communication Clinic. That's why it's important. I'm trying to help you guys out. I don't want this to sound like a paid commercial. The point is, men need practice with this. If you've been off the dating market for a long time, meaning you were married, now you're divorced, you had a girlfriend for a long time, you didn't keep up your flirting game, you need practice. So what you do, join the clinic. I started this little project, this little clinic, because there were so many men who said, listen, man, I need help. I can't get across date 1. I got a date with this girl from online and I can't get a second date. She ghosted me. Most women will ghost your ass if you can't keep them entertained for the 45-minute coffee date. And that gave me this idea. The only way to help you guys is if you actually talk to real women and even slightly above average looking women, so you get that sense of intimidation from a prettier woman. So I have selected 6 of my friends here in Dubai to help me out. These are all top quality women who've agreed to help me out on this little project. So for the price of actually going on a coffee date, you can actually get to talk to one of these girls for half an hour. You can do an hour if you wish, it costs you a little less. And when I priced this, I wanted it to feel like, hey, this guy isn't trying to rip me off and trying to get me to come and pay some crazy prices for something. I wanted it to fall within a specific range. I'm not doing this whole YouTube thing just for me to have fun. It takes a lot of time. It has now grown to something that I never anticipated so quickly. But I also understand that I'm bringing value. And that's another lesson that I want you guys to learn from what I'm explaining to you right now. If you bring value to anything, you should be compensated for it. So bear that in mind. If you go on a coffee date, you got to pay for 2 cups of coffee, 2 sandwiches, minimum. That's how much it'll cost you to talk to these girls for half an hour. They're just doing this on the side as a little side hustle. I'm not here to hide anything. I'm not here to rip anybody off. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys have dating success. Okay? Let's listen to what else she has to say so that it drives it home in your head how important this is.
I don't want to be nitpicky, but I would like to date somebody that I could have a conversation with at some point. I mean, we talked about the scrambled eggs that we had. They were good. But then after we talk about the red peppers and the green peppers and the price of eggs, talking about.
Chicken eggs.
And it would be one thing if I thought that he wasn't interested in me, and maybe that was the reason why he wasn't really talking like that. But then at the end of the day, he was just like, oh, have you ever heard of this other spot? And I'm like, nah. He's like, you would really like that. I think we should go there next. So you're clearly planning on seeing me again. But for what? Because you didn't talk to me today. You going to talk to me then? Like, I don't understand what we're doing here.
I was interested. So my point, guys, and I'm glad I had a woman like this to actually send it straight home to you all. If you think your game is off, at least book 1 date with these girls online. I'm going to also equip you with some really good opening conversation pieces so that you don't feel stumped. So you can use these questions in the practice session and then of course make it become part of you. So whenever you hit the dating market, you're good to go, dude. You're good to go. You don't have to worry about sitting there going, hello, how are you? Hey, nice day, huh? So nice dress. No, you know proper questions to ask a woman. You know how to get her to answer back to you. You know if you're talking too much. So the girls are instructed to give you feedback after your date so that you can get a good idea of how well you did. You won't get that in a normal date situation. You will only get ghosted. That's it. You will get that, oh yeah, well, I'm not interested. Or it was nice. Or you were really nice, but I found somebody else. You're going to get that response. You're not going to get, well, what was wrong? Women are not going to sit there and embarrass you and tell you that you did X, Y, and Z wrong. But the girls in the chat, they are going to give you feedback at the end to tell you whether you're talking too much, you just waffled on, you didn't listen to what she said, you didn't ask her any questions, the questions that you asked her were lame and boring, there was no interesting response. They are instructed to give you feedback on all of the things that mess up good communication between males and females. So listen, guys, seriously, just log in, askanolderman.com, click on the link, Male Communication Clinic. Unfortunately, the men have to play the game. The men have to take the lead. And if you're rusty or you've never played this game, you have no chance. And it's as simple as that. So I won't make this a long video. Click on the link in the description. Plus I'll pin it in the comments. askanolderman.com. The site has just been launched. We're going to also be bringing you personal trainers and mental health experts as well. That's coming soon, but right now I'm just going to launch the Male Communication Center because that seems to be the most urgent thing to get you to the next stage of the mating game. All right? So guys, subscribe, of course, click on the link, and I will see you for any comments, anything that you guys want. I'll be happy to be here to help you out. Okay? Cool. See you soon.